Hello everyone, welcome to, I just realised this is on the wrong screen. Hold on, fix that. There we go. How are we all doing? Welcome to tonight's question time. It's been a while since I've done one of these. If you don't know, a lot's been going on in real life. Mostly to do with my mother and cancer and dealing with that. So it just haven't been available really to do it. But I wanted to make sure I get it in tonight because not only have we not done one for a while, I want to make sure we answer some questions. But I also want to talk to you about Fireteam and where that's going and what's going to happen next with that. So Fireteam was launched in early access on Friday. Done quite well, done like 5,000 downloads or so. But we're working on the next patch for that to add some minor fixes to it. So something to look forward to in the next patch for this. All centered around making it easier for people to play together. So we are making it so you can join games mid-game and leave games as well. And when you leave the game and join a game, you'll get a notification saying so-and-so's left, so-and-so's joined. There'll be some communication things in there. So we're taking out, there was some basic voice chat implementation, but it didn't work a lot of the time. So we're taking it out and we're going to replace it with a simple ping-like system, but more on that later. Scoreboards are going to be in there, so you can be able to hold tab and see a scoreboard of all the players in the game and see who's in the match with you and how they're doing. What else? And some other bug fixes and tweaks. I've rewritten some bits of code as well, just to make it a bit more optimized, a bit nicer to work. And we maybe put a new map in there too. So lots of cool stuff to put in there for patch. That's patch 1.05. So I'm hoping to get that done for next week, if not sooner. Working as much as I can on it in between other things. So when it comes out, obviously this is still early access. We're still developing the game as we go, and adding more features down the line to it, more maps, modes, characters, PvE stuff, all that stuff coming into it, ready for the full launch later this year. And as always, as I mentioned before, everything you see inside Fireteam, you'll see a tutorial for how to do. So when I talk about doing a scoreboard system, I'll show you how to do that. And when I want to show people joining in matches, leaving matches, we'll show you how to do that. But yeah, we'll talk about all those things into the game as of and when. Anyway, moving on to today's question time. So question time. Nice, my thing's going mad. I like going with. I like pushing the button. I think my remote's on its way out. We'll just take the battery out of that. I think that's sending weird signals thing. Although it's stuck on red now, so so question time. If you don't know what question time is, basically it's a chance for you to ask me any question. Does it flick every time I get a sub? Hopefully. So question time is a chance for you to ask any question you want. It could be game dev related, Unreal related, it could be anything you really want. You can ask anything you like. All you have to do is put your question in the chat and I'll try and catch as many questions as I can within the hour or so that we're here. So if you have a question or are curious about something in Unreal, we're currently looking at Unreal 4. We will be transitioning over to Unreal 5 probably in the next question time, not this one. I wanted to make sure a few things were fixed by the time in Unreal 5 because I found some bugs with the engine. I wanted to make sure I fixed in the newest update. I haven't checked it yet, so I'll be doing that soon. But yeah, so check out Fireteam if you haven't already done so. But also keep an eye on the channel for more updates on that, and don't forget to sign up to my Twitter, and I'll put posts on there too, and so forth. Okay. Anywho, okay, so let's take a look at some questions that are coming through, if we have any. Max Grekovsky, can you help me please? Where can I find information about turn-based combat systems? By turn-based, do you mean like Final Fantasy Tactics style turn-based systems? The JRPG series has some sort of almost turn-based stuff. It's more active time-based ones, but nothing concrete on my side of things, not yet anyway. Gautier, can you tell us about RTS series? I'm wondering if you have a date for the 225 episode, I think it is. I'd say, as I mentioned at the top of the stream, a hell of a lot's been going on. It's just lots of delays on lots of things. It's just a matter of getting around to them. I don't know for certain. There's a few other things that are prioritized at the moment. I want to get to them as soon as I can, but at the moment there's a long list. If you could see my calendar, it's insane. So I'm working my way through it as much as I can. But yeah. Christabel Thompson. Hi Ryan, I have a question about animations. I'm trying my character to do a sleep montage, and after that I want to play another montage where he's waking up. I don't know how to handle the transition. Okay, so I don't think I have a sleeping animation, but I have other animations I can use. A second. Show you how to do something similar to that. A easy way. So much stuff on here. Find it all. Oh. Okay, so just adding some stuff to the project now, and I can show you how you do that. It's quite simple, so that's alright. While it's loading up, answer some more questions. RJ, fighting videos look incredible. Thank you. I enjoy the game. I find it fun to play. Just I say the focus at the moment is getting it more easy and more accessible for people to join games and things like that. At the moment, people are less social than they want them to be. People are less likely just to go searching for a map and just join one randomly. So I make it so you just click a button, you can join any game you like, no matter what. At least for now. Okay, so we've got some sitting animations here. So the way you do the sort of going to sleep, waking up, but looping the bit in the middle is with a montage. So you have to go find a montage. Okay, so let's go find a ground. There you go. So he's not laying down, but he's sitting. Okay, like this. Okay, so I want to make a montage out of this. So right click on this, create and then montage. By the way, this is the same process for UE5, nothing different. Okay, and in here, you want to put in your other animations in here too. So you need the transitions in here. So transition. Oh, I don't know what they call it. Hang on. They called it. Ground sit. Looks like this. Okay. So ground sit 10 is what we want. Ground. This has a load of animation stuff in it, transition stuff already, but do it the way. And bounce it 10. No. So drag that in at the start. So the full animation looks like this, and then we'll make them stand at the end. Okay, so the full animation looks like this, but we want it to loop in the middle. So what you do is you put in the sections. So going into here, add a not notify, montage section. Be the loop begin. Snap that center there. Another section. end. Yeah. And then you go to the montage sections setting over here. And if you don't see this window, you just go to window up here and go to montage sections. And down here, you're going to clear all these content. So now there are 3 separate sections. You've got default, loop begin, and loop end. What you're going to do is on preview, default, you're going to click on a little square and choose loop begin. So it goes from default into loop begin. Then we want to loop that beginning part again. So you click on there and click loop begin again, and you get this loop icon appear. So now, if I were to push play, it'll go into the loop, and as you'll see with the playhead, when it reaches the end, it'll snap back to the first frame of the loop. Okay, so you get this. And then when you're ready for the character to stand up, you just tell it to play that last section. So to show this in action, I don't have a character set up for this. Damn, hold on. Yes. Monkey. Mesh. Play. Montage. And you choose your montage. Oh my god. Starting section here will be default. We're not gonna leave it, so leave it as none. We press that, we go down. And if I want to stand up and say, if I push 1 again to stand up, I can do that. I can check montage is playing. So, oh, get an name instance. Montage is playing. Check that one. Branch. Okay, and if that is saying that'll go to false. And we do this again. So we change the starting section here to loop end. Okay, so if I go push, oh wait, we had the character in the scene. I'm not gonna make him move around or anything like that. Stupid. That in there. Okay, so I hit. Oh, hang on. I'll give him. I'm missing loads of bits. Sorry. You need an animation blueprint for the montage to work. Slot as default slot. Oh, there. Good. And then, okay. Right now, let's do it. Okay, so push 1, it's down, and I can leave it there as long as I like. It will just loop around forever and ever. Then when I push 1 again, it'll stand up. So the same process for obviously laying down, or whatever you want to use it for, but that is how you make use of the montage looping sections like this. Okay. By the way, if I do miss your question, just put it back into chat and I'll try and catch it as I go around again and again and again. Conquer. If you feel like I feel in year 5 question, I can't get root motion to work properly after retargeting animations with pelvis as the new root. Is there a way to change the root bone back? Yeah, let me load up Unreal 5 and I can show you. Hang on. It's easier for me to show you it rather than describe it. If I can find that thing. I've got like a 300,000 different projects on it. Hard to find. Yeah, I load up Unreal 5 and I'll show you this one thing. It can be. I've had people ask me this question, so I thought I'd show you it. That's an easy fix, don't worry, Conquer. Hey Ryan from Victor NR. How would you go about replacing the default mannequin with a metahuman? Animated and everything. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Just make sure when you bring in the metahuman, you're bringing in the game version of it, which is like LOD2, I think it is like that. Bring in the game version of it, and then you have to retarget its bones to, so the animations you have to the metahuman bones. So set up some IK rig, or if you're using Unreal 4, just use a retargeting system there to create the thing that you want to create. Yeah, so Conquer, and everyone else who wants to know this, root motion. Enable root motion to work with the new IK retargeting system. You go to your retargeter. Okay. So first thing you'll need to do is make sure you've got the root as a point in your rig. So let's open up the mannequin rig. So pelvis should be a retarget root. Then you add a new root chain here for root. And you just choose the root bone. That's what you got to do. That's it. Very simple. And we do the same thing for the other one. Root. Choose root and root. Okay. Again, pelvis is the retarget root there. We then go to the retargeter, and we should see root. If I auto map it again, see root come up here again. Now, at the moment, root motion won't go ahead with it. All you have to do is go down to, or go up to, translation mode. So it says here translation mode. It says none. Change that to globally scaled. Now your root motions will work. I don't know if I have any root motions in this project. I can. No. By the way, this is a project that you're going to see come onto Patreon soon. This is animation transitions. Yeah, so you just turn on globally scaled, and that'll fix that. Yeah, I'll fix that for you. Hi Ryan, this is from Radar G. I'd love to see something about an RPG radar / spider chart for your character stats. And that's not too big of a hassle. Thanks. Unfortunately, it is a big hassle because for those who don't know what a spider chart is, let me get a picture of. It looks like one of these. One of these things. Okay, it's like a spider chart. So if you just analyze what you're looking at here picture-wise, when you're trying to do a spider chart, is the I realised my face might be covering up. You got a shape that's undefined in the middle, and what I mean by undefined is that it's not fixed in place. You're going to be changing the shape of it all the time. So what we need to do is build a custom shape out of it, which involves a little bit of work. You can draw custom shapes. You have to just give them the points to do that. I don't know if... let me have a look. Because ideally you want it in the widget blueprint, but I don't know if you can. Or... I can draw a line. There you go. So you're gonna have to draw a load of these, and then fill in the shape in the middle. I don't know how you do that. It's gonna be I don't know if they draw shape at all. Draw lines. draw. You want like a draw polygon shape. But it's not easy. No, it's something I'd have to think about and experiment with, but I don't think there's anything in Unreal that I know of that'll make this an easy. You can draw the lines, no problem, by doing this. There's many lines you've got to do, but it's just shading in the middle. That's the tricky bit. Yeah, I don't know how you do that. You're basically drawing a polygon. Or polygon. Something like that. Oh, draw a polygon, hang on. Oh, it's a canvas, so okay, right. Sides, radius. Okay, so no, this is useless. This is just like drawing a standard hexagon. Don't know. Something to think about and look into. You may have to do like some hackery around it, but there may be a way of doing it. Dan Powell, hi Ryan. Any tips on creating a Metal Gear Solid 1 style inventory with a looping menu and all? Yes. It's a pain, but yes. So let's go ahead and make this. I don't know if we'll have. We'll see how far we can get with some little bit of time we have. I don't want to spend too long on it if I can avoid it. But yeah, basically making use of additive animations. So you're gonna have a horizontal box. That into the corner. Good. Minus 100. Okay, so you have the horizontal box going there. Have a vertical box as well. Right. 100 minus 100. Size in the X is 128 and 400. Okay, so it goes like this. Okay. But you want to space them apart so you've got something active in that slot in the middle, in the corner between them. So we want to, so X would be minus 100 and minus 2. Yeah, because it's 100, isn't it? That's what. Yeah. This one will go up. Okay, so you have this sort of shape in the corner, and you'd have a slot in this. Slot. And the slot, we'll get rid of the canvas panel, and we're gonna chuck in just like a picture, basically. Picture. So. And we'll actually put a size box around it as well. Size box. So it forces it into that size. So 1.8 by 8. Okay, so in here I have slot. that one in the corner. That's your active slot, basically. And that'd be -1. Good. -1. Okay, so it goes like that. Let's actually add some padding on that as well. Okay, yeah, there you go. Right, so you have the one in the corner, that's your active one, and then when you push your button to slide it around, you need to animate it with an additive animation with other things. So basically, when that goes into this cell here, that cell will take over one of them. Let's add in these slots into the box as well. And we want these to be so when we have this, we need them to animate and slide around. Now, for the most part, slots are going to slide to the left. Okay, there's only a few that are going to go down. So if we're going to animate these across, we're going to animate the slot going. Actually, it can go either way, really. Okay, well, we'll animate this slot here. So this slot here, we're going to animate slide left. And go into animation. Ooh. Animations. Oh, timeline. I'm blind. Add, and then we choose the translation of the render for the image. So transform, and we're going to add a point for translation there, and then we'll make it quite quick, like half a second maybe. Slide it to the. So I'm just going to put that on the screen. Makes it a bit easier. Okay, so translation here needs to be precise. You want it to go in this is left, so X can be -128. Like that. So in 1 second it's going to. Okay. The button is still there, like the image is still there, but it's rendering it over here. That's what the difference. You're not actually moving it, you're just moving the way the render is. Okay, and hit save on there. Or whatever. You do all the other directions as well. So you can do slide right, slide up, slide down, all that stuff. Then on this one here, we have another one of these in there. There's that. Oh, there you go. But anyway, let's make it so we can read the input. Let's Ragdoll make it get the player controller and set the input mode over to the gaming UI so I can actually interact with this thing. Actually, no, I'm going to actually show you guys another way of doing this with the actual way you meant to do it. When you're doing on-screen UI stuff. Go to inputs and go to action mappings. We're going to go menu next. Okay. And for that, we'll make it, I'll do the arrow key left. Then, yeah. And then I get another one for menu previous, and that'd be right. Okay, so for example, on the construct, you then do set listen or input action, and you type in the name here for menu next. And when it receives that, you can do a custom event to fire next item off. Okay. And likewise for the next one. These only work when your input mode is in game mode. Okay? If it's in UI mode, these won't work. But this is how you make your UI listen for inputs. Okay. Okay, so okie dokie. So on next item, we want to take all the slots that are in this one, in this vertical box, this horizontal box, sorry, and make them slide to the left. So get there, get all children, and okay. Cast 2 slot. And then we're going to do play animation forward. Yeah. Look at it. Right to the point side. Yeah, get slide left. Okay, then I'll do that. Oh, right, hang on. Bad name. There you go. Oh. For God's sake, why am I... Of course I named it bloody slot. This there. Oh, let me just take these out. Rather than fit. Right, okay. That'll do for this one. There we go. Right, so if I push the button now, it should animate all those to go to the left. Add this to character here. So you get this, you hit left, right, like that. Now, when it reaches the end, that's when you want to transfer over the information from one slot to the next slot. Because then it would save that information. I don't have any images. Never find anything in it. There we go. We'll just have this. Let's bring in some images in here. Let's answer some questions while they're coming in. From Aragog111. Hey man, I just downloaded Unreal 5 and wanted to get into game dev. Any tips on how to start / how to stay motivated? Start small. A lot of the reasons why people get demotivated in game development is they start off with big ideas and try to fulfill them. You're not going to be making the next Skyrim, GTA, World of Warcraft. That's not going to happen. So start off very, very small. Start off with something very simple, very small, something achievable. When you do so, those little achievements will make you feel much better about yourself and make you feel like you're actually making progress, rather than getting stuck in a forever loop of constantly trying to solve problems that you just aren't ready for yet. So don't go big, start very, very, very small. It makes it a lot more achievable, and you'll start feeling a lot more rewarding coming out of your time with Unreal or any engine. Okay, so let's just Sky's item slot. I'm doing all the spelling wrong today. I think use an array of object structs and an index and a function for each get selected item, get previous item, get next item. Then each time you press a button, use the function to update the UI. Just by changing the index and using the function to figure out what the other stuff is inside the functions. Yes, that is essentially what you do next. So this is just the UI part of it. When the slide happens, the slot here, yep, there's something else you add to this. So you add a event track to this. Event track. There we go. And you add a point at when it's finished here. And when it does that, you trigger your inventory system to update which is the active item you got, and then you just refresh all your UI. But that's how you do that. But yeah, that's the next. We won't have time to do all of it. Take forever to do. But you have this event in here, and you bound this to endpoint, and in here, you just put in your event dispatcher, which the thing will listen out for in your inventory component, and that updates the array item number. But that's that bit. You obviously don't want to change the item before the animation's finished, so that's how you sync that up. Yeah, so hang on. Off. Set brush from texture. Okay. So if I go onto here, oh wait, I need to make a tool. Okay, so on my slots here, I can give these a slot thing. I don't know what all the thing. Next. I've lost. That's not useful. Text. Phone. There you go. Text. Cloth. And this one. But these icons would come from obviously your inventory system getting that array out. But it is an array. That's the main thing. There's a lot more work involved in what we can do here. Okay, so these are the icons and all that come from your inventory component, which are fed through there, and it's an array basically, as Tornator was saying. You having the array in your map inside your inventory component, and you're feeding this data into here. The active one just gets switched upon those inputs based upon that item slot's event firing off. This is a starting point. I won't spend any much longer. I won't spend any longer on this because obviously I want to answer more questions. But maybe it's something I could do as a video, fuller video later on down the line. But this is the starting point of how to do the hard part, which is the animation part. You then will get the inventory component update, like the coordinator described in chat. Bindness. Do you recommend using objects for inventory items that are not placed in the world? So you could do, yeah. You just need to make sure that the code can fire off. If your items do stuff, then you need objects rather than actors if you want to do it that way. But you have to make sure you've got a function there that can fire off when you need to instantiate it. But yeah, that's what you can. It depends on what you're trying to do with it. So if it's something that you're spawning in anyway, you might as well make an actor with a mesh and things like that. But it depends on what you're doing with it. Synergy, yes, I know I'm behind on it. I had to go pick up my mum from hospital yesterday. I don't know. The days are blurred. No, I'm uploading them all tonight, so they should be in the usual place that I send the one-to-one videos. Been a mad old week. Are you familiar? This is from Lev Alice. Are you familiar with Collarbot? Is it something that's like that possible in Unreal? I don't know. I've never seen it before. Dang it. Okay. Well, first thing, anything's possible in Unreal. That's a. You often get the question like, "Oh, can you do this in Unreal? Can you do that?" You can make anything in Unreal, with varying levels of difficulty. That's the only thing. But I mean, without like, I have to look into it more and see what the actual game does. But it's RTS game. I don't know. You can program yourself. Something to look into. Not too sure though. Devil Panda, do you have any control rig tutorials planned? I know UE5 added new stuff like poses and whatnot. Curious to seeing some tips on using it specifically for FPS. Yeah, it's I say there's tons of stuff planned. So especially with Unreal 5, looking at control rig and things like that. I want to do some stuff with virtual production as well. So show people how to do virtual production stuff. More actual chaos. Do some chaos based tutorials as well. The list is endless for content. It's just a matter of doing what I can in the time frame that I have. But there are some when tutorials are being made, there are some that are really quick and easy to do because I know them like the back of my hand, whereas others require me to prototype it first and then make the tutorial on it. So I depending on which one I'm doing, that'll be the case. So yeah. So, Radar G, how would you go about to make the turn-based in JRPG more dependent on haste? Like you select the action for each characters, and then it will play out from the highest haste to lowest haste. It's pretty much the same thing that I do already, because we use haste to determine how fast the bar moves. But you just take out the bar moving part, make them go in, just go, 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 go. That's a very simplified way of doing it, but yeah, that's... Um. And find a question for someone that I haven't answered one for already. Hang on. Apo86. Where's the best way of doing sequential dialogue, like a spawned act with an array of sounds, or what? It is audio that plays in the background whilst playing. And yeah, it is just an array. Yeah. Conker, what are your thoughts on melee weapons, skeletal mesh versus static mesh? Like, is skeletal mesh ever worth it? So the skeletal mesh, it is, you can do things with a skeletal mesh that you can't do with a static mesh for obvious reasons. So you can animate and you can deform it in certain ways. Static meshes, you can't do that. So for example, mesh I can use. Okay, the gun, for example. Okay, so guns. I know it's a melee weapon, but same. Imagine this is a sword. Okay, so you can do things with skeletal meshes that you can't do with static meshes. Namely, you can do deformations because they have bones associated to them. You can deform them a lot easier. Not impossible to do it with static, but obviously the word static comes into play. But yeah, so if you wanted to say to add an animation to this, you can create an asset for this, an animation, based on this current pose. It is. And then you can make your own animation from it. Use inside Unreal. You can just go into here and add. I haven't got many bones, so this one's going to be a bit boo, but let's go for this one. You add a key, and then you can do things like insert frame, and let's say 50. Okay, so let's say we go over to here, and there. You can do things like exaggerations and things like that. Which we often use in games to exaggerate. So there's a clip. I'll tell you what, we can just animate the clip coming out. So if you want to animate the clip coming out for a reload animation, you can just do that. But for a sword, for example, you might want to extend the sword to stretch and bend and squish and squash to exaggerate the attacks you do. So you can do that very easily with a skeletal mesh compared to a static mesh. So things like that. You can do interesting things like customize the animations and the appearance of things like that. Versus a static mesh. Okay. The Wukong Paragon asset, the staff extends. Yeah. So we do it a lot in games, even games that you think are realistic. We still would add like a stretch and a squash on things because our mind, it plays tricks on us. So when we see that, it sells the idea to us more. So yeah, take advantage of that stuff. You're welcome, Conker. When you from Alex L, when you walk/run and push someone, I guess I'm gonna say, they'll become unbalanced, make a small ragdoll. Any thought? Yeah. So we'll do it with this little guy here. Do it with this guy. So let's just put in my first person character again. Like so. Okay. So this guy, when he is hit. Oh. Get a hit event. Oh. You can simulate physics on a part of a mesh. Set all bodies below simulate physics. Okay, and you put in the bone name here. So do make name and we'll spine. Okay, and that'll be new simulate tick that. Okay, so without me turning it off and on, or just turning it on, if I bump into him, oh, wait, let's see. Okay, yeah, so if I bump into him, and hold on. Why? Make sure it has got a physics asset. Yeah. Yeah. And then vision settings. Oh, pawn set to ignore. Oh wait, capsule. No, I should block us. Change that to Ragdoll to use physics body stuff. Oh, there you go. So yeah, it just had to be physics enabled. So you can do things like bump into him, he'll turn like that, but then you for a split second turn it back up. So if I do like a little delay, for example, and then make exactly the same thing and turn it off. And let's change the speed of this to like 0.5. So after half a second, so if I bump into him, okay. That's the snapping of the ragdoll and things like that. As for him doing that snap back to position, there's no easy way of fixing that. You need like a transition where they're like half recovering and then make them play that animation. But yeah, how you do that. Stefan, is it possible to make a matchmaking system like Fortnite or Apex? Well, considering Fortnite's made in Unreal, yes. How easy it is, the matchmaking system, if out of the box Unreal, without doing any plugins or C++ coding, you can't really do a matchmaking system. It's meant for like, it's more open than that. But if you do want a matchmaking system, there are plugins that you can get. For example, the advanced Steam multiplayer plugins. They have a really extensive matchmaking system support there. So do check that out. Otherwise, you are looking at custom coding that system in C++. Hi Ryan, how can I import a retarget base pose from UE4 to UE5? Don't know. Simple question, that one. Base pose. Does it not come over with the U asset? I would assume it would. I haven't tested it, so I don't know. So I would imagine it comes along with the U asset. If you just pull the U asset in and migrate it over, I would imagine it does, but I have no idea. I haven't tested it. But yeah. Conker's asking, Ryan, do you always do these around the same time of day? Gonna need to tell my boss I'm gonna leave work by 3 PM. It's the time from now. Yes, we try to every Wednesday. Well, this year's gone nuts. This year's been a write-off completely so far. But what's meant to happen is every Wednesday I'll do a live stream such as this, where we answer questions from the community, and then on Saturdays I'll do another live stream where we make stuff and teach stuff live. But with everything going on, with my mum, COVID, everything else, it's been an absolute crappy fire heap of a year so far. So it's kind of been random, but yeah. Hi Ryan, have you got any hands on with the UE5 geometry tools yet? I'm curious to how much it helps out compared to importing meshes from Blender. I haven't yet tried out the geometry tools. No, I want to. It's just finding time at the moment. At the moment, I'm kind of back to back with like different projects and things with various people and companies. Doing some work for other companies I can't be talk about too much, but I'm literally back to back working. Like as soon as I finish this live stream, I'll be doing some more work for another couple of hours. I haven't had dinner yet, about 10 p.m. So I want to get to it as soon as I can, but it's just a matter of finishing things off and getting done. Solomon, hey, about to finish my first project. Any general tips? Do not worry about it being perfect. Games are never finished. You just run out of time. That's a good mentality to have. You could literally spend forever on a single project, constantly tweaking, adding things, and making it better. But realistically, you can't. You need to set yourself a limit of boundaries, a time limit, and say, no, that is done. That is it. So, for example, Fireteam, I wanted it out back in January, but like early access, but with everything that happened at the end, changed to March, and then everything happened in March, and then I was like, okay, it's coming out on April 15th, early access, no matter what. So there are some things that I've been working on that I haven't been able to put in the release yet, so I just put it out, and I was like, it has to be out, otherwise, because it's tied to a tutorial series that I have filmed, I need to make it come out at the same time, so I needed to get that content out there. So we did that, and then we're working on it afterwards. But yeah, so don't strive for perfection. You're not going to do it. Don't worry about it. It'll be broken. Your first game generally will be broken, buggy, loads of things missing, loads of things broken, but that's fine. Games are so hard to make. It's a miracle that any game actually gets released, and when it does, they are held together by very loose duct tape. So be proud of your accomplishment in completing a project. Not many people have done so. A lot of people take on games development as a hobby, but very, very few actually see it to a project to completion. So check that out. Okay. Ready, set, go. Is there a fix to the remove from parent issue? My UI will not leave the screen on end overlap, and the interrupt message stays on the screen. So one thing to note, some common issues I found with working with loads of different people with things like that, with UI being added to screen, removed from screen. Some common pitfalls that you may not realise. 1. Make sure that when you're adding the UI to the screen, you're only adding it once. If you add it multiple times because you've entered the box multiple times or tick or whatever, it'll just overlay on top of each other. It won't be possible to see normally that difference. But if you do remove from parent, it's only going to remove the last one. That's the first point. The next point is if you added your widget to a sub widget, you do remove from parent, it will remove that one element from the main widget, but that main widget will still be on the screen. That widget still hasn't been removed. So if you remove a sub part of it, it will actually keep the main thing on the screen. Now, to test that, this is actually I've got a sneaking suspicion, without actually seeing your project, that your issue is the first one. When I mentioned is that you've accidentally made it so it adds loads. To test my theory out, just go into your project, and when you want to remove it, rather than remove from parent, just do remove all widgets. Do that. If it disappears, then you know you've added more than one on top of each other. So check that out and put in chat if I was right or not. But it sounds like that's what you've done. Again, without seeing it. Um, Blue Planet. Hi Ryan, could you explain how to make a weapon upgrade system? For example, level 1, 12 damage, level 2, 15 damage, level 3, 20 damage. You got a few things you can do. You can either do it algebraically. So if it's a standard upgrade path, you can do it algebraically, put in a formula, and you'll work it out dynamically as it goes. You can do it with a curve. You can do it with a data table. I'll show you with a curve because that's something I haven't shown before. So I'll show you that one. So you go into miscellaneous, go to curve, and we'll do curve float. Let me call this one damage curve. And then on here, you just add a point for every single level you have. So add a key. This one will be at level 1, 12 points. On here. Okay, I'm going to hit enter again. And this one's going to be level 2, 15 points. So you can keep doing this if you want. This is a way of doing it. Yes, I say there's many. Level 3, 20 points, and so on and so forth. If you want to do it per level and design it per level like that. Alternatively, what you can do is say like, what is the minimum damage it will do is 12. The maximum damage at maximum level. So let's say your max level is 20. I'll go to 20, and here I design. Okay, the maximum damage it will do at 20 is 50 damage. Okay, so there's my chart, and this is what we call a linear graph, a linear curve. And then we can just select all these and break open the anchors so we can move them about and do stuff. So if I click on auto and then click on this button here, toggle, I can then click on each anchor, do the handles, and I can control the curvature of our graph here. Okay. This. I can design that curvature. So now I don't have to design every single point. I've got the algebraic function represented as a curve for me, which makes it a lot easier, a lot quicker to do. Put your min, put your max, and it'll auto work out the bit in the middle. And if you want to tweak it so you get a bigger power gain at the start versus at the end, you just tweak your handle here, go up a little bit like that. And therefore, when you turn level 1 to level 2, your power gain is massive compared to your power gain from level 18 to 20, or dropped off. But how you organise that, totally up to your game design. But curves are pretty cool, an easy way of doing that. Okay, but you need, for example, 10 weapons. So you need to make 10 curves. If they have different damage outputs, then yes, you do. So for example, once you've got the damage curve here, you make your gun. You have a gun actor. Okay, and then in here you have on the variables here damage curve. And you assign that to a curve float. You just set it to your damage curve that you've got there, and you do that for each weapon. You just choose what damage curve they're using, and so forth and so forth. Right. But yeah, if you've got different damage curves in, yeah. Or as Conker said, yeah, you can do a curve for the level of the character, and it's say there's a billion and one ways of doing it. The untextured, I feel like that is a bit complicated to show quickly. And hold on. Talking to variant. Okay. Ryan, could you show us how to make a conveyor belt that moves along but stops every 3 seconds for 1 second, then continues for 3 seconds and so on? Yeah, we don't have much time for this. Oof. a good thing to rather than me go through it, I know for a fact that Epic have actually got something exactly doing this on their channel. So if you go into Epic's channel, you'll find it's quite an old video, but it should still apply. Do a conveyor belt. So rather than me going through the whole process and doing it from you, it's that. Plus, you just put in the timer or set timer. Just pause the timeline and play the timeline again. Get that stopping and starting thing. The untextured Ryan, I have a question. In a survivor game, for example, where you can build, how could you save the game and save the data of every act in the game and load it? You basically just said it. You have to grab every actor that you've placed and save its transform. That is it. So you can imagine how big these save files can get. Yes, you need to save all that data. Now, for game like if you're doing something like us, for example, then yes, you need to save every actor's transform. Minecraft does it differently because it uses voxels, so it has to just save a coordinate and what value that coordinate is, and that's it. More than just transform. What about if I wanted to save multiple variables contained in it? It's same sort of deal. So if you want to save the item details as a struct, you can save it to the save file. It depends what you're trying to, what details you are saving. Your best thing is to do struct and save the struct over to the save file. Yeah, but you're going to put all that stuff into an array or map or some kind to store this into your save file. Yeah, there is no magic button or magic thing to make this easy. It's literally just saving whatever information you want over to it. So if you want to save an actor's health variable that it has, whatever, then you need to send over what variable it has. Now I swear I've done videos on it in the past, but a struct is the easiest way of doing it. But you could also do things like a more open I don't think the words. Yeah, so if you want to add an actor to this scene that you want to save information from, you need to, on your variables here, you'll probably need to have a actor reference to the thing inside the world that you want to do, or a class you want to spawn in, if it's something that doesn't exist yet. And then you can use a map to, no, I feel like struct would be the best way actually. It involves just a lot of planning and organization, because you have to make sure that the items that you want to be information you want to store about each item, the structs need to have that information ready to go. Yeah, it is painful. It's not nice. There is no way to like say save a snapshot of the entire level. You literally have to save every actor information that you want to do. Well, loading games can take a while because it has to read the save file and change bits, move bits, and things like that. We're going to chance for like one or two more questions. Hi Ryan, how do you have animation hold indefinitely until a button is pressed or cancelled? So you get your mesh. So basically anything you want to do with animation regarding like a skeletal mesh, you get its animation instance, which is the animation blueprint. Okay. Once you've got that, you can do all sorts of things with it. So, for example, in here, we can do things like get the play rate of a montage. If we play it with a montage, we can just pause it like that. Or we just do pause, actually, even using an option. Pause. Yeah, there you go. But otherwise, you can do actually, no. Do it this way round. We have. Oh god. Animations. Right. So in your thing here, all your animations here, you can. There might be an easier way of doing it, but you can go to the play rate here and expose this to a pin, and then promote that to a variable, and this variable then can be tied to a player pushing a button and not pushing a button. But yeah, that would be the easiest way of doing it. But we're gonna leave it there for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me back on Question Time. We'll be back here again next Wednesday for another Question Time, same time, hopefully. Don't forget to check out Fireteam if you haven't done so. Say new patch will be coming out soon for that. I just need to finish off a few things. What you can look forward to this week on Patreon and on the channel. So on Friday, you've got a continuation of JRPG series for both patrons and YouTube members. Patrons are getting quite close to near the end of that. There's like 34, 35 episodes, I think. So they're getting quite close. So you got that. And then you're going into next week. We've got the inventory system series carrying on with UE5. I need to finish filming parts of that to handle replication. That'll be happening next week. Got more survival stuff coming out next week, and also YouTube people, not next week but a week after, you'll start getting Fireteam videos coming out showing how to make Fireteam stuff. So if you want to catch all first chapter of Fireteam, there's like 7 or 8 videos, no 7, I can't remember now, 6 or 7 videos of Fireteam chapter 1 that you can find on Patreon right now, available to all patrons. Sign up, you can do. Once again, I want to say a massive thank you to all my patrons for the continued support. So thank you so much. Yeah, I really do mean it. This is something I get to do full time now, helping everyone, doing as much as I can to help people. Do make sure you check out my Twitter and things like social media to sign up for those, because I will be announcing some cool stuff on there. Some new initiatives we're doing with the website. We've got more Fireteam stuff being announced on there, more videos being announced on that, more live streams, more premium classes and premium content as well, coming down the line as well. Benilo, when's the rest of Fireteam vids? I need to get time. Give me time. It's a lot to make. But we'll be probably filming more Fireteam videos this weekend, ready for that next week maybe. I don't know, we'll see what life likes to throw at me in between now and then. But yeah, thank you very much everyone for joining us live, and I'll see you. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.